Hey guys, it's Hayes with CheatSheetPros.com. Today's November 1st. We're going to take a look at some NBA sports betting picks and player props. The player prop lines I'm going to use are from Prize Picks. So I'm going to go through and give you some that I like and show you what my five-man card looks like. So we're going to start off with Prize Picks. So the first one is OG and Nunaby. I cannot pronounce these names, so if they are incorrect, I don't care. We're just going to roll with it. So the prop I like for him is over 2 3-point field goals made. So you can see 3-point attempts. He's 3 of 7, 2 of 8, 4 of 10, 4 of 8, 5 of 9, and then it kind of goes down from there. So in the last 5 games, he's made 5, 4, 4, 2, and 3. What I like about it is the number of attempts he's getting per game. 7, 8, 10, 8, 9, and he only needs to make 2 for a push, 3 for a win. So that's one that I'm going to go with tonight. Going over to points scored. These are actual points, not fantasy points. Barrett is one that jumped out at me. His number is 14.5. Well, in the last 2 games, he's played 33 and 36 minutes, and he's put up 20 and 35 points. Before that, he was kind of tinkering around there. He was still taking a large amount of field goal attempts with 27 in these 2 games, but really only making 29 and 40%. And then he's really picked up these last 2 games, making 20 of, 33? So 20 of 33, between 53 and 67%. So he's put up 55 points in 2 games, and tonight he's only got to go over 14.5. So that's one that did jump out at me. And sticking with points scored, another one is John Collins. So John Collins, his number was also 14.5 actual points. Now he only had 8 last time out, but that was against Philadelphia, which is a tough matchup, but he still took 9 field goal attempts. Prior to that, he was 14 of 16, 8 of 11, 9 of 14, and he put up 28, 16, and 22. The last 3 games, easily going over the 14.5. So he's someone I do like over 14.5 tonight. Jumping over to rebounds, Kyle Kuzma is someone who really jumped out at me. You can see he's put up 17, 8, 8, 12, 11, and 15. So just a rebounding monster. Well, his number is over under 8 even. So he hasn't been under that all year. He did have 2 games where he was 8 on the dot. But, I mean, in some games, he's been doubling that number with 15 here, 17 here. I like him to go over 8. Another one that jumped out at me was, so those are my 4 favorite ones, and some of the other ones that you could slide in for number 5. So Nikola rebounds over 11. So he has 12 and 19 and then 8 and 8. So he's been over that in 2 of the last 4 games, but he's someone when he goes over, he has the potential to go way over, and then 15 here. And then there was something that jumped out at me on this game, and I can't think of what it was off the top of my head. But he's someone in consideration. And then Jason Tatum, his rebounding number was 7, and that's one that jumped out at me. He's got 15, 7, 7, 9 in the last 4 games, and then 6 and 11. So he's someone that's right there at that number, maybe 1 below, but he's not someone that's going to give you a 0. So he's heavily involved. He's playing a lot of minutes, so that's something that jumped out at me. So over 7. In the last 4 games, he'd have had a win, push, push, win. And this last game, he almost doubled it, so hopefully he can keep that up. He's another one to consider. And then Fred VanVleet over 4 rebounds is one that jumped out at me when I was running these. So he's kind of up and down. He's had 6, 1, 10, 6, 5, 4, and then 3 in the first game. So in this game, with 6, 1, 10, 6, 5... Sorry, can't say that. 6, 1, 10, 6, 5. He's been over that number of 4 in 4 of 5 games. So he's someone that kind of jumps out at me that could be a short play that he could get real quick. And then some of the other points that I liked were Kemba Walker over 15.5, Jason Tatum, and then DeMar DeRozan was one. I didn't write down their lines, but there are other ones that I earmarked that I did like. And so jumping from Prize Picks, so my card is going to be RJ Barrett over 14.5 points, John Collins over 14.5 points, Kuzma over 8 rebounds, Nunaby over 2 3-point field goals made, and then I'm going to mix in one of Vuk Tatum, or Van Vliet rebounds for my 5th play on the prize pick card. Now, jumping over to games, now you might have saw our banner that we put up the other day, and let me find it. I'll just show it to you so I don't have to repeat it all. So over here on, what was this, the 30th, day before Halloween. So day before Halloween, we had our cheat line, and our cheat line's doing really good. So this is the same methodology that we pulled over from NFL that we've had success with. So we applied it to NBA this year with a little bit of a twist on it to help it. So I've kind of been tracking it. Some days I get busy, kids have sports running around, so I don't get a chance to look at it. So I happened to go back and look on 10:30, the morning of Halloween, and I looked at the games, and the biggest difference was about 6.5 points is what I started tracking. So you can see our differences here. These are the projected differences, and they had some dogs, they had some totals, a little bit of everything. And then this is what we projected the game at, what the actual final was, but all 6 of them won. Now I'm told the Cleveland plus 10 was close to not winning. A guy had to miss some field goals to make that cover, but again, 5-1 still would have been good. 6-0 is even better. So looking at the games tonight on November 1st with a 6.5+ point difference, I'm going to run through them real quick. And so what I did is I added this little mark right here so you can see what the side difference is, what the total difference is. So this one, pretty close to Vegas, so I'm not going to look at that one. Pretty close to Vegas. Flip down here. We're getting close here. So San Antonio plus 3 is getting us almost to 6, but if we're cutting it off at 6.5, then this one falls at 5.9, so that would be kind of a near play. Again, we've got Toronto plus 7 at 5.6 points, so that's just under the play mark. Total difference of 7. We've got this one going over, so we've got it between 213, 215, and even down here 213.5. We think this line's fallen too low at 208, so we're going over 208 in the Knicks game. And then we go down here and we've got a side difference of Washington plus 5.5. You can see it's a difference of 7.3. We actually have them winning the game, so we're going to grab the 5.5 points here. And then 6.3, if we're cutting it off at 6.5, the total doesn't make the play, but it would be a slight lean to the under. So it opened at 222, went to 223. We've got it 214 to 217, possibly around 212. So somewhere around that range. So 6.3, that's pretty close to a play. If this line comes back to 222, then it would potentially, or if it went to 224, then it would fall into the play category. But if you're cutting it off at 6.5, which is what I'm doing for the video, then this would be one to lean towards the under. And then we go over to Boston, Chicago. We see real quick here a difference of 8.8 points. So that's going to be Chicago plus 2.5. You can see we have them winning 113 to 106. So I went ahead and just took them on the money line to make it simple. Difference with Denver of 6.1. So this is really close to a play. I did go ahead and bet this one because I wanted another game to even it out. So I took Denver plus 1.5. We've got them winning 109 to 104. So that's another game that we went. And then Minnesota, Orlando, 5.4. We're not quite there, but we're kind of getting in that ballpark. So this is basically saying we have Minnesota by 8. The line is 9, so it's going to fall real close to that. Total difference, 214 to 216. We got it about 211, so 5.4 points. And then rolling down here to the Clippers, and they're both pretty close to the Vegas line. So just to recap, the bets that I like today are the New York Knicks going over the total of 208, Washington plus 5.5, Chicago and Denver either plus 1.5 or plus 2, and money line. So we're going to dabble our toes in tonight while we're watching our Chiefs game, and good luck.